Hey everybody, and welcome to another Factional Fight episode. Uh, I'm back at it, alone as you can see. Brian was unable to make it tonight. And I'll be honest with you, I was still hit or miss. It was really hit or miss about whether or not we were going to do a stream tonight at all. You might notice my voice is a little bit off. On Friday, I had lost my voice. And yesterday it was sort of touch and go. But the show must go on, and I decided to hit the stream button anyway, despite the fact that there's no Brian, and despite the fact that my voice is at about 50%. Because I love doing this. I love doing it so much that I wouldn't miss it for the world. So here we go. How's it going, Deathwind? You've been down with the sickness for the past couple of days too? Yeah, I feel you. However, I have been doing a bunch of stuff in the game, trying to move the projects a little bit forward. So I'm going to show sort of what I've been up to this little bit. First, I'm going to get myself all ready to go. Let's get my UI back. I'm gonna eat a little bit, get my food bar right up to the top so that it lasts, for the whole show. I don't think I need to heat it up. I'll be okay. And we'll drink. Hey, Deathwind. Thanks for that tier 1 sub that you gifted to Retrograde. And Retrograde and Joel, how's it going? Welcome to the Factional Fight stream. As you can see, I'm not doing so hot. However, I am going to stream anyway because I love doing it, and that's sort of just what's going to happen. All right, so one thing I've been working on, and this is where I'm going to start, and I've been trying to think about this idea of these tutorials that I've been messing around in my head with trying to figure out how I'm going to incorporate those. So what I thought I'd do on this stream is show how I build a ramp. how ramps are built. Okay, but before I get there, what I wanted to show is how I've sort of been working on this little this little hill here. As I mentioned before, I don't like those straight dirt walls. I like those gently sloping walls. And I haven't really had a chance to build many of them. And this is my first one. It's, I got to the point where I thought, I'll just do about half of it and just see how it is. And then I might have to adjust it as I go. Deathwind, thank you very much for that gifted sub to Joel. It's kind of dark, so you can't really see exactly what I'm trying to show here. But my hope was to get this slope more natural looking, where it's the bottom tier right here, this little area is going to be sloped a little bit and a little bit more natural, so it's not perfectly smooth. And I'm not sure how good of a job I did, and I might have to fix it up a little bit. But that was my first run at it. Yes, Deathwind is officially the kindest person ever. Agreed. How is everybody doing tonight? Hopefully enjoying some Wurm yourself. So yeah, that's what I've been working on a little bit. Just dropping some dirt and getting that slope, to look sort of natural. It still doesn't look natural to me perfectly, but it doesn't look like a dirt wall either. So I'll keep working at it and shaping that. Maybe I might bring it out a little bit. We'll see how it goes. And then this little guy right here, this tile right here, is going to be a mine entrance. So it's going to have a little hill and a mine entrance, and hopefully more dirt is going to get poured all over this to make it look a little bit more natural. Did I enter the Facebook contest? I didn't. I didn't have the time to. I did look through a couple of them, but And I was trying to think of what I might write there, but yeah, I think I'm going to pass on it. It is a great event. So if any, can people still enter in? And hey, Milo Sanks, how's it going? You guys are going to have to bear with my voice tonight. It's about at half-mast right now. So where I'd like to start is with working on this ramp here. And I kind of wanted this little bit to be a little sort of segment where we can cut it out and I can put it on YouTube as a tutorial on how to create a nice dirt ramp. At least the method that I use anyway. A long while ago, I made a ramp like this one, and I filmed it as a time lapse, and I posted it, sort of to show how I did it. But in this one, I'm just going to demonstrate exactly how I do it. Okay, so Joelle's saying that she'll keep it open a couple more hours if anybody wants to join in that Facebook contest. So this contest, you can win 1 free month of premium by going to the official Wurm Facebook page, and there's a post there where it asks you to post your favorite Wurm memory, and the best one is going to get picked, I guess, as the winner. And before I get started with this, I'm going to crack open my beer. This one is another special, interesting seasonal beer from Big Rig Brewery. It's called Tales from the Patch. I just had to get it just because of the picture on it. It looks awesome. And it's a porter. I'm pretty fond of porters. And this one is it's called a spiced pumpkin porter. Zenomir, thank you for the subscription. That's 2 months in a row. Yes, and you are very welcome. I saw that you posted on that thread, and it looked like you got your rake. Yeah, it's a cool looking can. Absolutely, it's definitely for Thanksgiving, which is around this time of year. A spiced pumpkin porter. So I'm very excited to try it. I had put my glass in the freezer, which is a nice trick, especially for porters. Porters like to be cold. So I have a nice frosted glass. And I put the beer in the freezer for a little bit too. There we go. Now if you've never had a porter before, I highly recommend them. They're very dark beers. They're dark like a Guinness, but Guinnesses are stouts. Guinness is a stout, which is a little bit more thick than a porter, but porters sort of have a similar consistency. So let's... pumpkin spice. You can smell it right off the top. Wow, that one's an interesting beer. I was not expecting that. That is quite interesting. I'm going to enjoy that. All right, so let's get to it. Hi, Nerds. It's your first time seeing us live. And you just started playing Wurm a few days ago. Interesting. Very nice. Very nice. It's always nice to have a new person join the game. Ginger beer. Ginger beer. I'm not too fond of ginger beer myself. Isn't ginger beer like it's not quite even a beer, is it? It's like sort of like a sweet pop, is it not? And Buddha, yes, Guinness is a 3-course meal. This turning out to be very much like a meal, I must say. Alan Key, thank you for the follow. All right, so let's get down to business. So let's see. I am going to demonstrate my method for building a ramp. Now, I sort of shaped the rock to how I kind of want it. However, it isn't quite exactly. I need to sort of shape the land in order to get there. Now, this first tile, is going to be the first slope of the ramp. Okay, so currently I raised it right up flat just to prepare to show you. But this tile here is going to be the first one that's sloped, and it's going to be sloped. I'm not exactly sure how much, but I'm going to probably shoot for around 8. And then the next one's going to be more like, I don't know, 14 or something like that. We'll play it by ear and see how it goes. But the idea is to get sort of a rounded curve instead of having it go straight at a diagonal. Have it nice and rounded. Okay, so it needs to, the first one that you want sloped needs to start out flat for this to work out. And I'm going to grab some dirt from, oh, not there. Here we go. I'm going to grab some dirt from here. Now it's going to be flat so that I can level the next one. Now this one here is 20 slope down. Now, if I want this first one to be 8 and the next one to be 15, if I want the first one to be 8, then what I'm going to need to do is make this slope here, this one that, that's 20, I need to make that one 8. So I'm going to raise this one up. And I'm going to stop exactly when it's 8. This is going to take some pretty good focus. And no doubt I'm going to mess this up a few times. But we'll see how it goes. Once I do this, I'll explain exactly my process. That I really feel like it's hard to say it. It's much easier to see it. So let's see here. You love an IPA called Fuller London Pride Pale Ale. That sounds good. I've never heard of that beer before. But I do love IPAs as well. They are definitely one of my favorite beers. And there's a ginger beer called Main Root, and it's pretty strong. Main Root. And is Main Root, is ginger beer an alcoholic drink? Okay, 2 more. Here we go. So I'm going to take 4 more dirt just so I don't mess this up. And Milo Sanks, you're saying you'd love to see the mod that takes dirt from your cart. Let's face it, you don't hold dirt in your hand. Use your shovel from a cart. That's true. That's true. Okay, so there we go. That one's 8. Okay. So the reason why I want this one to be 8 is because eventually this tile here is going to get flat. And it's going to get flat because I'm going to bring this one down by 8. So let's do that. And as I said, this tile here, this one that's paved, is going to be the first tile of the ramp. It's going to be sloped 8. Yeah, I've heard that ginger beer is like commonly used for mixing with other alcohol. Oh, they carded you for it. Yeah, I guess because the word beer on it. I must say, I really, really, really like the update that allows you to dig dirt right to the ground. It's not coming in my inventory. I'm just digging it right into a pile. You drink it when you're sick. Ginger beer, okay. Okay, I suppose because ginger is pretty good for you when you're sick. I wonder how good real beer is for you when you're sick. Probably not the greatest. I must say, this is a very interesting beer. I've never had a beer that quite tastes exactly like this. Yeah, it's very spicy, like a spiced, kind of the same way that like a pumpkin pie would be spiced. Yeah, it tastes kind of like a pumpkin pie in a beer. Okay, now that this one is flat, I'm going to move my cart up. Stand on the flat tile. And that'll allow me to level the next one. And I'm going to level that one up to a slope where it's whatever the slope I want this one to be, which let's say is 15 or so. So let's bring this into here. And we're just going to raise this up. I need to be standing on flat ground. Why am I not on flat ground? One slope down. What did I do wrong there? That's not good. Oh, okay, one slope up. That's better. That's not as bad. That one's flat. This one was off. One slope up. Okay. Phew. I have messed this up to the point where I kind of had to start from the beginning again. It is possible. If that was one slope down, I would have probably had to start from the beginning again. But I think we're good. Okay, now I'm standing on flat ground, and I should be able to level this up here. Okay, so Buddha, you're saying a month or two ago there was a supermarket here that had to recall all the brand of ginger beer because they accidentally bottled the alcoholic stuff as non-alcoholic. Nice. And Zenomir, you were carded with root beer. That's ridiculous. That is quite ridiculous. Alright, here we go. Let's see if I can get some dirt in my inventory before it runs out. So, I kind of wanted to raise a subject. That's another topic that I wanted to talk about too. You know what? Since you brought that up, Milo Sanks, let's talk about that first. The priest update, I am looking forward to quite a lot. I'm very interested to see, once everything gets put into the game, how I'm going to sort of like use it. But my prediction truly is that I don't know how much it's really going to affect me all that much. There's a few things that are definitely I'm looking forward to, like for example, being able to cast Life Transfer or Essence Drain. Essence Drain I'm kind of looking forward to on its own, but being able to cast those with a single priest sounds like a good change to me. I'm also really excited about the Rite of Spring changes. That'll finally bring that back. You know, it's been a long time since, you know, when I first started, the Rite of Spring was something that everybody looked forward to. It was like scheduled like clockwork by the community, and it was run as a community event on a regular basis. All up until that, you know, there was that guy who kind of messed it up for everybody. Yeah, Ritual of the Sun. Is that the Magrenon version of it? Yeah, I don't know. But the Rite of the Spring is the Venora one. It gives everybody sleep bonus. That's definitely going to be something that's going to affect me for sure. Because now we'll be able to, log in, and if the Rite of Spring has been cast, we'll be able to access the bonuses from that right after by praying at altar. That's a big one. Yeah, Life Transfer is going to be a single priest spell. It's going to be a 100 faith cast, which means that if your priest has 100 faith, you'll be able to cast it as a single priest. Obviously, if you don't, you're still going to need to link. Oh, the Mag 1 repairs. Oh, all rituals will give the sleep. Yeah, okay, that's nice. Yeah, if all rituals give the sleep bonus, then that sort of levels the playing field. That's for sure. Now, just back to the Life Transfer or Essence Drain, the fact that a single priest can cast it does more than just that. Currently, because it's 120, you have to link, and if you link with another priest, it makes the difficulty of the cast higher. So it makes getting higher casts harder currently. Once we get down to a single priest, it'll be easier to get higher casts for that single priest if they have 100 faith. So that's a big deal, I think. We're going to see a lot more of that on the market for sure. Combat update. I know that Sindusk has been talking about the combat update on the forum. He is really really active on the forums, and he's really good at responding to as many posts as he possibly can. Some of his posts are like huge walls of texts, which are kind of impressive. In terms of what the combat update will look like, I have no idea. One thing that he has said is that he wants to work on moving away from combat rating being the primary driver of fighting, which I'd agree with. I mean, it kind of makes for boring fighting when you're fighting something that is either really low combat rating compared to you, or vice versa. If you're fighting something that's really high combat rating compared to you, it's not a fun fight at all. I'd like to see combat a little bit more skill involved in the combat, like from the player as opposed to character skill. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but maybe. Joel, you're working on becoming Foel. Nice. Nice. So let's see, what else am I looking forward to with the priest update? Here's something that I'm not looking forward to, and that's the change to mend. Yeah. Currently, I use mend in order to get, high quality items down to low quality. Like, for example, if I'm making a circular cutting pickaxe, for example, I'll, create a whole bunch of pickaxes. They usually come out at 20 quality, and then I'll cast on those 20 quality. And if I get a really nice cast, I'll want to take that 20 quality pickaxe and bring it down to like 8 or 5 quality or something lower. So I'll use mend. But the way that they're going to make the change to mend is that the amount that the quality is going to be reduced is going to be, affected by whatever damage is on the item. So if the damage is very low, then it's only going to reduce the quality by a very small amount. Now, I do understand that this sort of like use of mend to bring down quality of items is sort of not an intended feature, but it seems like the only way to bring the quality of an item down. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out. So I guess if we remove mend's ability to do that, then I don't know. Like, you can take a wooden item and bring its quality down. There's a method for that. Same with cloth. Both of them can be put into a furnace and just wait for the quality to go down. But metal items, you can't reduce their quality. So I'm hoping that something is put in so that it gives that functionality back. That's just my thoughts. I know there's a whole bunch of other changes about the priests update that is affecting combat. However, I'm not really well versed in priest combat, so I couldn't say one way or the other. There was a lot of controversy regarding what's it called? The life transfer or healing resistance. What's it called? Healing resistances. And people fearing that the resistance might be too high. But it sounds like we've been assured that it wouldn't really, be a big deal. Yes, you could use a pickaxe to bash a stone wall. I mean, that's the current method that I use, right? Like, I'll bash it once. It'll create a little bit of damage on the pickaxe, and then I'll mend it, and that'll reduce its quality by 2. But what they're saying, the change to mend is going to be that the amount of quality reduction is now going to be proportional somehow to the damage that you remove from it. So let's say you bash a wall and it creates a 0.5 damage on the pickaxe. Then it might only reduce the quality by 0.5 or something really small anyway. Currently, it reduces it by 2 quality every single time, 2 quality. Doesn't matter how little it's damaged, it'll always reduce it by 2 quality. But if it changes so that it reduces by a smaller amount than 2 quality, then that's going to be a problem, I think. At least for me. Anyway, it's a small thing to complain about. But it's something that's going to reduce functionality for me, that's all. I did scour the priest lists as well, and I think I'm going to stick with the priests that I have. I have a Vin priest and a Najo priest. I also have a couple batteries that I haven't used in a long while, and it looks like I might not need them anymore. Uh-oh. Did that just uneven them? 32 and 33, yeah, it just made them uneven. Okay, well, that's okay. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stick with Najo. Mostly because I need strong wall. Strong wall is like a fundamental for me. So I'm going to keep it the way it is. I'm curious to know if the priest changes are the way that they are, like the way that it is on the test. I know there was like a recent change on the test server to the priest updates. Minor things, mostly. It seems like things are going to be the way it is, as it is on the test now. There was one other thing in question, and that's Gary's spell list got announced. And I'm curious to know if they're going to keep it the way it is, because as it is, I think Gary got the short end of the stick. Like by a long shot. So yeah, you have a Vin and a Foe, and it was Najo. Oh, wait, I gotta stop here. Okay, I want this one to be 20, so let's do one more. And you have 2 batteries for Vin and Najo, yeah. Yeah, Vin and Najo. It seems like those are the 2 PvE priests. Yeah, those are the 2 PvE priests. I can't see any of the others being as versatile as Vin and Najo in the PvE sense. The only spell that those 2 are missing is Blessing of the Dark. But aside from that, together those 2 have pretty much all the spells you would want as a PvEer. And I must say, like, there's some small things, but in terms of from PvE perspective, the priest update isn't really going to bring all that much. I think this is a big effort to fix up PvP. And you know, I'm all for that. I'm okay with the focus to be PvP for a little bit. I know the PvP crowd's been crying for it for a long time, and they deserve some love. Absolutely. So what I wanted to talk about this time, this priest, man, I'm off my game today for sure. What I wanted to talk about was that there was this forum thread that was posted a long while back. Let me bring it up here. It was originally posted July 12th, 2017. So this is like a year and a half ago. And it was titled Expanding the Endgame. And it was posted by Sindusk, who, as we know, now currently is a Wurm developer. However, at the time he was not. He was just, he was doing a whole bunch of mods for Wurm Unlimited. Ooh, I have 8 items being mailed to me? Yeah, I should go check those what those are. What those are. You can't remember why you changed your mag to Najo. You think it was LT. Was there changes to Najo as I changed it to Foe when the free switch was available? Well, I can see why you would change mag to Najo. Magrenon. Here's the thing. Najo had pretty much all of the spells that Magrenon had that you would ever use as a PvE player. And it had more. So in addition to all the Magrenon spells that Najo has, it had Life Transfer, Genesis, Courier, what else? It had Healing. Yeah. So yeah, Najo is almost like Magrenon and Foe put together. Am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? 2010. Yeah, I'll make it. I'll make this. So let's do another 20 here. Yeah. Now, Foe does have something that's slightly an advantage over Najo. What was it? There was one spell that I kind of missed, and it was the one that makes trees grow. What's that one called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one that takes a young tree and grows it. I really like that spell. Wild Growth, there it is. That one's worth it. And then Foe has Genesis, it has all the healing, it has Life Transfer. Yeah, perfect for farming. I know a lot of people love Foe. But the thing about Najo is that in addition to Life Transfer, you also get Wind of Ages. So to, you know, if it's your only priest, then you get a little bit of Vin in there as well. And you get most of the useful Foe spells. And you get most of the useful Magrenon spells. So it's like the best of all worlds. All right. We're getting there. This is not too much longer. The first one there is 18. I'm not sure if I should I fix that to make it not 18? I don't know. Okay, I'll have to figure it out. That whole bottom there is going to take a lot of effort to fix. But I wanted to show this method that I do to make ramps. Hopefully it's sort of coming across as making some sort of sense. You still have a Najo, no channeling on it. Yeah. Channeling is the one that, you know, takes the most amount of time. When I made my Najo, I made a sort of a deal with myself that I wouldn't allow my faith to go higher than my channeling. I'm going to make sure that I do the grind properly and on a regular basis and just keep with it and keep my channeling going along as my faith goes up. Now, I was pretty successful at keeping that till it hit around 70. And then it sort of stopped. The face started going a lot faster than the channeling after that. Wouldn't it be great if you could have any deity you want but choose which spells you got? Now that would be great, for sure. I'm not sure how balanced that would be, though. And you're also going to get a whole bunch of spells that nobody ever picks. Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting if they allowed that. That one's 20. That one's 22. Okay, one more. Let's see if it picks this one. Nope. Great. Yeah, you still need to... Yeah, channeling is the one. Did you guys catch... I did a little tutorial on how to grind channeling. It was a couple... maybe 3 weeks ago. I was planning on clipping it out of the episode and just putting it as its own standalone, but never got around to it. But I put it in the title, and yeah, you should watch it. It's definitely channeling is one of those ones that takes a good amount of time, and if you don't plan it out, or if you don't know the best way to do it, it could feel really daunting. That's for sure. I mean, even with the method I showed there in that video, it takes a long time and a lot of work and a lot of money too if you're gonna buy your way through it. Alternatively, you can just gather the gems yourself. Just do a whole bunch of mining or a whole bunch of praying, one or the other. Actually, I'm finding digging. Digging is giving me a lot of gems. I did this whole area. I was digging. I must have gotten 7 or 8 like really high quality gems just from this spot alone. Why don't I just level the tile borders? The problem is... Okay, I'll show you what the problem is. The problem is this side. This side is really steep. So, you see how this is 41 slope? If I tried to raise this corner here, the dirt would just slide right down. Right? The dirt would just slide right off the edge. And it's going to do that a couple spots down this ramp. Right? Actually, you know what? It's not so bad. It's not as bad. But if you have some slopes down here, which I will, where it's more than 40, you can't just put dirt here, because otherwise it just slides right off the edge. And then you're stuck with dirt at the bottom. She means the actual level action on the border. Right, but don't you have to be standing on a flat tile in order to use the level action? Not if you use level on the tile border. You know what? I never thought you could use level on the tile border. Have you always been able to do that? Use level on the tile border. Okay, let's try that. On borders, it levels the tile, the far corner to your corner. Okay. Okay, let's try this. Let's finish this digging. Although I guess I don't have to do this anymore if we're going to use that. It's relatively new. Okay. So there was a Ninja update where they made it so you can level just one border. That's interesting. I never knew that. The problem is that in order to try it out, okay, I'll just try it out sort of up here. Like a year or two ago. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's recently enough. That's recently enough. Like, I'm trying to think here what I was doing 2 years ago. Because there was a whole period of time where I had sort of taken a break, and then we were probably elbow deep into the labyrinth at that point. And the last time I built a ramp like this would have been probably 4 years ago. Maybe 3 years ago. Okay, let's try this. We can level a single border. And you don't need to be... Okay, hold on. So I could stand right here and level this border. I can stand right here and level this border. No, I cannot dig in solid rock. Okay. What if I drop the dirt here? And I should be able to drop a dirt here too, right? I should be able to drop a dirt. Yeah, okay. And let's level this border. Did that work? Yes. Wow. That adds a whole new layer of functionality that I was not expecting. Okay. So that makes things a little bit easier. Only a little bit though. Let's try this now. Let's try this. I think we can actually finish this off anyway. I'm pretty much at the end. Oh, you know, even though I do teach a lot about this game, I do admit that there is a lot about this game I do not know. A lot. I learn new things about this game all the time. And this is definitely one of them for sure. Okay, June 2017. You can use keybinds, flatten or level on tile borders, resulting in raising or lowering of the tile border. Yeah, interesting. That is really good to know. Yeah. No matter how long you play this game, you always learn new things. Absolutely. It's one of the things I love about this game. So let's see here. So then, why not remove the restriction that you need to be standing on a level tile in order to level the next tile? Or is that just because it won't know where to level it to? Because it won't have a flat tile border to level it to. Hey, Ultimate Savior. Thanks for that 100-bit cheer. As you can see, Brian's not here today with me. Yeah, it wouldn't know which tile. Yeah, it wouldn't know which level. So, yeah. I can see that. So I guess this was a way to make it so that it sort of to help that process. So you just pick a tile corner to stand on, and you pick a tile border, and you can level it to that. Okay, I can see that. That sort of makes things a lot easier. Oh, I ran out of stamina. Let's go back up. You've been trying to convince him to try Destiny 2, Black Ops 4. Yeah, I know how he is. You know, I just reinstalled Destiny 2 onto my computer. Oh, that's why my stamina was low. I was climbing. Destiny 2 is one of those games that I'm not sure how much I can really play it. Gunther the Viking, thank you for that follow. I reinstalled it because a friend of mine started getting into it. I had bought it when it sort of came out and played it until I got to the cap, which took about a week and a half, and then I stopped playing it. And I never really did much after the questing was done, so I don't know. There was something about it that was like a little bit shifty to me, like the fact that they kept coming out with updates and you had to keep buying those updates, and the more updates that came out, they made it, I don't know. I heard that when the first update came out, some things that were in the vanilla were blocked and that you had to buy the update to get them back. I thought that was a little bit wrong. So yeah, you tried Destiny 2 last week, you got to level 20, and your gear was getting capped out at 260. Then you uninstalled it, since that's basically the entire game from what I could tell. Yeah, that's essentially the same experience I had. Yeah. That's how I felt. Play for about a week and a half, and you get to the top, and there's not much really else after that. I heard that the rating was, or the strikes or whatever they call them, was pretty good. But I can't see them, like they were like four-man teams. I can't see that being like that great. Anyway, I tried to get Brian into Overwatch. That didn't work either. You know, part of me was wanting to mine this down. I might have to do that another time. But now that I put this here, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Alright, let's see where I am. So, I think I might have to do a little bit of work with this on off stream, because otherwise I'll be fiddling with it, and I don't really want to be fiddling too much. But let's do a quick calculation here. We got a 15, we got a 6, so that's 21. Plus another 15 is 36. Plus another 18. 36 and 18 is 54. 54 across 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles. So if I do another 20, that's 34 across 3 tiles. Okay. I think if I do one more 20, and then the rest gently sloping down, I think that should work out okay. And we are on, is this backup lag? Backup lag, probably. He ain't adventurous when it gets, you know what it is? It's not that he isn't adventurous. It's that he's very skeptical. He has gone through adventurous stages. He's done all that, where he'd download 100,000 games and try them all. But you can only do that so far before you realize that so few of those games have anything worth trying them for. So yeah, I didn't even know he got Overwatch. When did he get Overwatch? I'll have to bug him about that. Here's the thing about Destiny 2. The storyline is not what you play for. I can tell you that right now. The storyline is pure. It's like the same as every other game like that. You know what game? If you want a good story, what's that game called? It's a BioWare game. Goodness. I'll have to look it up. BioWare. What's that game called that BioWare makes? Mass Effect. No, it's not Mass Effect. It's not Mass Effect. What's the game that I'm thinking of? It's like a space game. I don't know. Maybe it's not a BioWare game that I'm thinking of. Maybe it is Mass Effect. You know what? Yeah, it's Mass Effect. Yeah. If you want a good science fiction game where aliens are coming to invade and killing everybody, it's Mass Effect. Okay. I'm definitely going to have to fix something here on this ramp. That's okay. I had a plan for what to do next. Whoa, look where I am. I am below the world. Okay, let's try that again. This was not the only thing I had planned. And that did not turn out nearly as fun as I thought it would be. Another thing I've been doing is I've been collecting a whole bunch of mats. I've been buying mats. I've been making mats in order to contribute to this project that we're working on of decorating this massive building. And we'll go down there and start working on that. Yeah, not Dead Space. It was Mass Effect. I was thinking. You know what's funny is Dead Space was the game that I thought it was. When I read Mass Effect, I was thinking Dead Space. I'm like, it's not that game. Because that game didn't really have a good storyline. Oh, I'm passing what I need to get to. So I had this all set up. I'll put the dirt back. I'll have to work on that ramp on my own. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there watching me just dig away for another 3 hours. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's see what I got here. I got some mortar. I got some slate bricks. I got some sandstone bricks. And I should have some pottery bricks too in here. There's some pottery. There we go. And some clay. Combine the clay. And I think I should grab a bit of sand just in case. Not that much sand. Let's just fill up the rest of this one with sand. Too far away. Yes, Milo Sanks, you definitely need to make crate racks. That was the first thing I did when I got back to this deed. Prior to this, this entire area was just filled with all of those crates just sitting on the ground. Probably 200 of them. And yeah. Okay. They're wonderful. I can just take this crate and drag it in there. It's like the functionality is just perfect. Alright, what's in this one? More sandstone. Okay, perfect. I definitely don't have enough mortar. But might come to it. If it comes to it, I'm going to have to just make some more mortar. Portal games, yes. I really do enjoy Portal. Let's see, what is that? Okay. You know, I only played Portal 2. And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Like, there's a few games out there that make you laugh. Just to, you know, make you laugh out loud. But that's one of them for sure. Okay, so I'm coming back here to a couple questions here. What is the fastest way to skill up mind logic? I don't know about the fastest way. No, I do know about the fastest way, actually. The fastest way to skill up mind logic is definitely by far hot food cooking. By far. If you know how to pan fill, like do the whole pan filling thing, every time that a meal turns, like, you know, the raw materials turn into a meal or something like that, you get a mind logic tick. And if you can pan fill quickly, you can get like 1,000 pans full of stuff and then get them all to tick at the same time. So you'll get 1,000 chances at mind logic. So yeah, fastest way by far. Alright, so now that we're down here, I do apologize about my voice. It's really like hard for me to talk. I have a lot of these things that I want to say, but I'm like almost just hindered by the fact that I can't talk. Alright, what I'd like to do is redo all of the walls in this place. Last stream, I put up all of these floors, these floor openings, so that I can come up here and reach these areas. Let's see here. Did they block that? No. The devs blocked the ability to access your cart through an opening from above. Boy, oh boy. That's going to cause lots of problems. I definitely took advantage of that when it was there. Okay. Now, we did create this pattern sort of thing where it's like narrow window and then this barred wall, narrow window, barred wall, etc., etc. I want to keep that pattern because it looks kind of cool. You have to go down first, keep the window open, and then climb back up. Yeah, I could do that. Nah, Joe does not accept that action. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. Yeah, so Xenomir, pan filling. Get on it. We did have a video showing how to pan fill most effectively. This was a long, long time ago. But I think that if you just search for cooking, it was our cooking episode. And yeah, there's definitely an optimal way of doing it. So there was something I really want to talk about. And it was a forum post. I started talking about it, but we got sidetracked. Called Expanding the Endgame. And it was posted by Syndusk. And he posted it way back. Way before he was a dev. This was July 12th, 2017. He posted it. And I think he was posting it from the perspective of a Wurm Unlimited modder. And he was... he wanted to, for his own personal servers, expand the endgame for the people who were essentially skilling up so fast because you're on Wurm Unlimited and then running out of things to do. So he's asking for the Wurm community to come up with ideas how to expand the endgame. And the conversation there was not bad. I don't feel like that many people contributed to that conversation all that much. But there was a little bit at the time. And Syndusk sort of walked away with some decent ideas. And the thread ended. Like, this was, like, again, still back in July 2017. There was a total of how many posts here? Probably like 10 posts until Tuesday of last week when somebody posted, "Is this still up for discussion?" And they went on to write 3 paragraphs about how they think that the endgame should be expanded. Which then started a chain reaction of people contributing their ideas. Because I think, like, the next person posted, "Cheers for looking into this, Syndusk. Here's my ideas." And they went on in their ideas. And, of course, Syndusk currently now has the developer tag on the forums. And when the next person, when you open up the thread, it looks like a developer is asking how to expand the endgame. And I was curious to know what Syndusk's reaction was to this. I'll be honest, I was really curious. Because if I was him, I would be like severely stressed at the fact that people are thinking that this is what his next big project is. I mean, we already know what his next big project is. He's sort of taking on way more than I think that we would ever expect him to. He's doing currently the priest update. He's then said that he's going to work on PvP balances, followed by the combat update, which are all really huge updates. So by the time that he caught wind of this, it was already on, like, well into the second page of comments. Let me see where he posted. Yeah. And he says, "I just noticed this thread being necroed today, actually. It's actually one of my favorite old posts because it led to a lot of mods that I created in Wurm Unlimited that actually did help expand the endgame because of the discussion that happened here." And he goes on and on. And in pure Syndusk fashion, he quoted everybody, almost everybody who posted, and responded to everybody, which I think is just so commendable of him. When he does those sorts of things, it's just kind of impressive. But I kind of wanted to add my thoughts on this endgame business, because I think, I'm trying to figure out what people are wanting for this endgame, or why is there a need for an endgame in this game? So I started thinking, people tend to start off playing this game, getting really, if it's the type of game that you like, then you get so into it for a good amount of time. And from my experience, I notice people eventually sort of get to the point where they've done everything. Somebody put it well when they said, you go out and you get your skills all up, you become really good at crafting what you want to craft, and then you go out and you're hunting dragons and doing rifts and going to Impelongs, and you're doing all the things the game has to offer. And then when those events end, you come back to your deed and you start making fences again, or you start making barrels, and it sort of feels like all of that, you've done it all. Like, why do it all over again, sort of thing. And I think that feeling sort of leads to people feeling like they need to, like, they have a desire to create that spark again, but just get every skill to 100. Having skills go up, that's definitely a motivation, but I don't think that that's the reason why people play this game. Everybody plays this game for different reasons, for sure, but definitely the sense of progressing your character is a big motivating factor to continue playing. And then there's also the friendships that you make and the connections you make to the community. That's also another thing that keeps people coming back. But it definitely gets to the point, everybody feels this, I think, at some point or another, where, and it usually happens when you just finish something big. Like, you just finished making your deed, or you just finished, you went to a bunch of rifts and you just completed that goal. You come off that high, and then if you don't quite find that next thing to do right away, you fall back to old habits of doing what you did in the past. And then it's sort of like, I don't know what it is. I guess the game just sort of feels a little bit stale at that point. And if you don't get into that next thing right away, that staleness can sort of fester and make you not really interested in continuing. I felt that before, for sure. And I'm not sure what to do about it, really. I know what I do in order to get myself back into this game is I spend a lot of time planning. Because I find that if I plan out what I want to do, that's when I sort of start getting motivation and getting back into the game. But one thing I know for sure that keeps me playing is the sense of progress. And I'm not sure if everybody feels this, but it's definitely something that I feel. I would sit there just grinding a random skill just for the sake of it. Like, as you say, Buddha. Like, just to get to 100 on something. And that could keep me motivated. Just because I feel the sense of progress on my character. When I come out of that, my character will permanently have changed and will have new capabilities, and that's what keeps me motivated. What I think that Wurm needs in order to expand on that is another layer to that progress, another layer of that progression, something that's different than just character skills, that what I'm doing contributes towards, that will permanently change something about my gameplay on a regular basis, like continually working towards improving. And I don't know what that could be exactly. But this whole thread, when I was reading through it, made me remember about Brian's idea of the deed progress system. Like a deed level system. And it kind of got me thinking about what it would take for me to want. What would that system look like that would get me interested in it? And one thing that I thought was, I have a bunch of different deeds. And I usually have a bunch of different deeds. And I'll usually claim like each deed has its own purpose. Like that deed is my farming deed. And this deed is my priest deed. And this deed is my main deed where I do all my crafting. So what if we had a system where the deed itself has its own sort of characteristics, own sort of, I'm going to use the word skills here, but I'm not thinking like skills. I'm thinking like, it'll definitely be like progress bars or something like that. Where as actions are being done on that deed, it contributes towards making that deed more functional in that way. So let's say, for example, I have a farming deed and I want to make that my farming deed. Well, as I farm on that deed, it increases that deed's ability to be a farming deed. Like it becomes more fertile, let's say, because I've been tilling and doing all this stuff. And I could work on improving that deed's ability to be a farm. And then you can have like a crafting deed, and you can have a priest deed, or whatever it is. And each one has its own. I mean, in the same way that characters, you can sort of be a jack of all trades. You could be a character that can invest in any one of the skills that you have here. And I can become a carpenter and a blacksmith. Your deed can sort of do that too. I think that if there was this, like, and this is only like a random idea, but I think the general idea is that if there was something that added progress to this game that was completely separate from these skills progressing, but gave you a sense of permanent change in the game, then I think that would be an extra layer of motivation to get people working on things. So basically like a rarity bonus for farms, sort of like, you know how deeds have like these bonuses? These bonuses, these bonuses could definitely work in conjunction with this, or at least be incorporated into this system. These bonuses, I'll be honest with you, are quite lacking, I would say. But yeah, if we could elaborate on this, or incorporate this into somehow more meaningful things, as opposed to just sacrificing. If there's something that I can build up over time. Yeah, deed characteristics or stats. Yeah, exactly. Every time that you do something on the deed, it gives that deed a chance to level up in that sort of like area, and over time, and it could be a long progression. Deeds are going to be around for years, right? And it would be a system that's designed for Endgame. It's not going to be like a quick thing. It's something for those veterans who have been playing for a long time to work towards. And the bonuses could be minor, or the bonuses could just be these bonuses that, or you've always wanted things like Colossuses to give bonuses to the area. That'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm reading the comments here. So Brian's not even here, and I found a way to sneak this deed system into this stream. Yeah. It's really a matter of me. I was trying to think after I read through that Endgame thread, and I was thinking to myself, what kind of system would I be motivated that would motivate me to like really, really continue playing? You know, like what is it that I love about this game that keeps me playing? And if this game just had more of that, more layers to that, then it would definitely motivate me to keep playing, for sure. I mean, as you can see, I'm still playing, so it's not like I need it. There's enough in this game that keeps me happy. But I've seen over the years so many people leave, and I'm trying to think. You know, what if we could add something to the game? What would keep people around for the long term? And the people that I see leave, they have massive skills. They've done all of the things that they wanted to do. And they've got their skills up to the 90s on the ones that they wanted to get to 90. And it's just a matter of they've finished. They felt like they finished. And they don't, that's what prevents them from coming back. Like, they'll stop playing for a little while. They'll try to come back and be like, you know, if I come back, I'm just going to be doing the exact same thing I did before. There's nothing more to work towards. I mean, there's always the argument that they can just try a different skill, but it's the what skills people do is a matter of preference. You know, it's what they enjoy doing. Wow, this wall's taking 3 shots. A lot give up when they get to 90. Yeah. So Metal Aggression, you're saying this would be good for communities. Maybe alliance plots with similar attributes would be nice. Yes, totally. It would also, I think, promote... I've always felt like this game could use promotion of getting more people into your villages. If there was a lot more bonuses associated with... it doesn't have to be a lot of bonuses, but just definitely not detriments to having more people in the village. As it is, the more people you have in the village actually hurts your deed bonuses, which is why I try to keep the minimum amount of people in my village. And if I ever make another village where if I ever want people in my village, I always have to make a separate one for that. Yeah, Buddha, you're saying this. Yeah, and this is exactly what, like, the same with me. I start playing again because, like, I have the desire to try something that I haven't tried before in terms of building something. All right, let's see. So all that work that I did before, I think the only thing I'm going to keep is the slate floors. What I want to try here is to make it so that this hallway has a particular type of wall type. And I think I'm settling on slate or pottery. Slate or pottery. I got a bunch of each. So what I want is the hallway to be a specific wall type. And then when I enter in here, the other walls that are not bordering on the hallway to be a different wall type. And I want each room to be like that. I just got to decide what I want the hallway to be. Slate is quite dark. And you know, sandstone also is quite appealing. Pottery is my favorite of them all. But I almost feel like pottery needs to be more of an accent. So I think I'm going to make it slate. So I'm going to make the hallway slate. And then the other thing I've decided is that instead of doors, I'm going to use archways. So I'm going to have an archway here. and an archway there. So let's get started on that. And then I'll catch up on what you guys are saying there. And I need building tools and my trowel. And we'll go with slate arch. That's stone arch, slate arch. There we go. All right. Yeah, your mount indeed is quite impressive, Milo. I'd encourage you to work on it, though, because I'm really interested to see how it all turns out. Yeah, priests. The priest update where it's allowing priests to do stuff, I agree. That's going to be huge for a lot of people. And, I would say that the way that I played a few years ago, I would have used that all the time. I used to play on like 3 accounts all at the same time. And that's how I played all the time. I would 3 accounts and they'd all be cutting bricks or mining or whatever it was. I have gotten to the point though where I stopped that because I felt like it was very draining on me. Too much focus, too much concentration. And so I stopped. I want Wurm to be more relaxed. Oh, that looks so nice. I love the slate. I love how slate looks. And this room's going to look really good with it, I think. All right, let's do 40 here. And I need to change this to wall, slate wall. Yeah, so I for the longest time now, probably the last couple years, I've just been solo, like one character at a time. If I want to go over to my priest, I'll log over to my priest. There is one thing that I'll do I'll have 2 characters doing. So if my priest is enchanting, then I'll log on another character and do something with them, because enchanting is like super long actions. It's like you can queue up something and just wait for it. It takes a whole minute or something like that before you see the results of that action. So if I'm enchanting on my priest, then I might like bring on Griffith at the same time and do some skill grinding. Something low key, where I won't really need to focus too much on it. Or if it's like, digging clay or something like that. But man, sometimes I was doing some crazy stuff with multiple characters. I don't think I'll ever do that again. It's just too much. I have heard that there is, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen here, but somebody's working on a system that's going to combine characters under one account somehow. Can't remember who it was that I saw mention that. Am I right about this, Buddha? Or somebody who might be able to confirm or deny this? Now, I don't know if it means that, one premium will get you more than one character at a time, but I know that there's something being worked on. I could be completely wrong about it, but something related to connecting your characters under one sort of account. Yeah. Yeah, if you can log on both at the same time, yeah. I think that would be needed for sure. Whoops, I don't want to remove. Okay, good. I want to add to crafting window. There we go. This is still wall. It is expensive if you want more than one character for sure. I would say. But, one character, if you're just premiuming one character and you're buying enough silver to, let's say, keep a small modest deed up, I'd say that that's not too expensive. At least from my perspective. I know there's some people who struggle with that amount of money, but I think overall, in comparison to most other games, it's not that much money. But yeah, you're right. The moment you want a priest alt, and then if that priest alt needs a battery, and then, you want a really big deed, yeah, things start getting out of hand pretty quickly. The question is, will it bring in more premium? If you drop the cost of the game, will people see? I can't see it causing a rise in income. I really feel like the people who are just paying premium will just now be paying less. And I really don't feel like it's the cost that's preventing people from continuing to play this game. There's a lot of other things that cause people not to play this game. Now, speaking of cost, you know how the shop has the ability to pay through something called Zola? I was really curious about, why is it that Zola sometimes for some things are so much cheaper than, let's say, you pay PayPal? Like, for example, if you went and bought 1 gold coin from the shop using PayPal, it would cost you 160 euro. But if you go to Zola here, I'll go to it right now just to see how much it costs right now for me. It seems to change each time. Wurm online. Here, I'll bring it up. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I go to the shop. I log in. So, excuse me. You come down here and you buy 100 silver coins in the game for 160 euro. But if I come up here into the Zola area and I buy Wurm Online in-game currency, and let's say I just, can I, let's say Visa? Right. 181 Canadian dollars. So let's convert that. 181 CAD to euro. So I'd be paying 120 euro. So, like, I was really confused about that. Like, why would I pay $160 down here, or 160 euro, when I could pay 120 euro up here? And part of me was concerned that if, let's say, I bought here, then that's 40 less euro that Code Club would get. Like, if I thought it from the perspective of, if I want to support the game by buying this currency, and really that's what I would be buying it for. I'd be buying it to support the game, and to have fun in the game too. But I do really love this game so much that I would be willing to support it. But I was concerned that if I used Zola, that's just less money going to the game. But yeah, I found out that somehow when you pay with PayPal, the government keeps track of that and takes a lot of that, a huge chunk out of that as taxes. Whereas I think that because Zola is like a company in the States or something, that it kind of gets around that. My premium expires in 200 years. Let me think here. No. It looks like next month. The end of next month I have premium till. Yeah. That'd be nice if it was 2 years. Yeah, and that you're right. I've also heard that this Zola business here, this whole thing is like different depending on the country that you're in. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Confusing to me anyway. Nonetheless, I think sometime soon I'm going to be buying some gold. But anyway, let's put this away. I do like. I mean, we have a lot of. We do spend a lot of money in this game, that's for sure. And we've gotten to the point where we just spend as a. There was a period of time where I made money, and we did that whole bit. It was part of the thing that we loved about this game, was that you could make money. But it did get to the point where it started feeling like a job. I'm not gonna lie. It did start feeling that way, where I had to come in, and when I was younger with less responsibilities, I could see like it was a lot easier to do that sort of thing. But yeah, I have too much job-like things in real life that I don't need another one in Wurm. Okay, so 1 gold is 130. Let's see. What is that in euro? 130.4 USD to euro. Yeah, so it's like $5 less. Maybe $6 less if you're in the States. €6 less for you. I do think it's because Zola is in the States, and they're making money off of conversion. I'm sure of it. Yeah. You don't know how to make money in this game. Well, there are a few things that make consistent money. One of them is bulk materials. But as I said, if you get into making money in this game, it will start feeling like a job. I'm not like there's no way around it. The real things that make money in this game are the things that people don't want to do on their own. Right? So bulk materials are one of them. I buy lots of bulk materials, and the people that I buy from are making lots of money, for sure. And if you can stock up on bulk materials, you'll sell them for sure. People will buy. Okay, now my question is, what is the other wall in this room going to be? Slate on one end. I saw a building at Kappa's Impalong that had slate on one side and pottery on the other, and it looked really nice. So I think that in this room I'm going to go with that. I really do like the look of pottery. Well, if you're going to make money in this game, a boat is something handy to have. See, to get to that point where you're really making money in this game, you have to work on that setup. It takes a lot of effort. You got to get yourself a nice boat, lots of crates, and if you're going into the bulk, definitely lots of crates if you're going to the bulk material sort of side of things. And then you gotta, the people who are doing this at a high rate, they're doing this by, logging on 3 or more tunes at a time and cranking out, they'll bring them all over there and dig clay and make mortar and cut bricks and mine and all sorts of things. But this is basically what you're going to be doing the whole time. Your whole gameplay is going to be gathering bulk materials and then delivering them. Yeah. And if that's what you enjoy doing, like people enjoy doing that. And that's your choice, I guess. If you want to, you can do that. But I'm not going to lie. I worked on doing that sort of stuff for a little bit. It was fun. It's fun making money in this game. But it definitely doesn't, at least for me, it didn't last. It didn't last. You have a slave to help you, yeah. Yeah, 12 clients for dirt. Yep. The investments, they do, it does take money to invest in starting up, but nowadays you can get some decent enchants for very low cost. So the initial investment isn't going to be too much. And if you focus on one thing at a time, let's say you focus on bricks, you really need a decent pickaxe and a decent stone chisel, and that's it. So you pay maybe like less than a silver to get a couple decent tools, and you spend some time making crates and a boat and those sorts of things, and then you just have at it. You start mining away and cutting bricks, and here's my advice to a newer player who is looking to make money. Don't go into the bulk material, but rather get into archaeology. Archaeology is a new skill that seems to be doing well on the market right now. And it doesn't take that long to get your skill to the point where you can actually start getting things to sell. So yeah, archaeology. You can really start making good money, I think, with it. Also, the rare. Oh, I need mortar. I picked out clay. There's a good. it's a nice system that allows you to get rare items pretty decently. So there's the rare items, and then there's all the statue fragments. Forage all day for rare coins. You could do that too. One thing that you could, if you have another reason to forage or botanize at the same time, then it could be worth it. Like one thing that I used to do a lot of is botanize for woad. So I would botanize for woad, specifically for dye making. And that also gives you rare coins. It's not so consistent though. Archaeology, I think, is a good one. If you enjoy archaeology, then you can make some decent money with it. Yeah, bury corpses, yeah. Yeah, metal aggression, I totally agree. So you've explored and found 200 plus US dollars worth of stuff. Yeah. That's got to be like a 1 in a million though. Chances of that happening very low, I think. But I guess anything could happen. Where's the rest of my pottery? There it is. Okay. This is still pottery wall. Yep. Actual count coins. Interesting. Who leaves coins just lying about on their deed? That just seems a little bit careless, if you ask me. Yeah, that's a lot of time. I mean, I suppose you could find an abandoned deed where someone has a whole bunch of rare items and stuff, and they just stopped logging in. Yeah, I can see the appeal of that. Totally. Yeah. A cart full of rare coins. I mean, I have a little bag here that I keep all my rare coins in. It's nothing that, I have all my rare coins here. It's only a few. What is this? Maybe this might be 2 silver in total. Yeah, but if you explore with other people, then you got to share the loot with them. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think in general, playing this game with other people is fun. But only if the other people are also having fun. I've played this game with people who are not enjoying it in the least, and it's just not fun at all. It's not fun at all. So did you guys catch Bloody Drongo's stream this week? Where he did the fashion show? I am on Xanadu. Yeah. This is our home now. So Bloody Drongo was at Kappa Zimpalong. He did a fashion show. stream, which was a lot of fun to watch. That was just a great show. It goes to show how far along we've come in terms of the graphics in this game and the customizability. You know, when we first started playing, everybody looked the same and you had no customizability whatsoever. So the fact that we can have fashion shows and that people can come dressed completely uniquely just shows how far we've come in this game. And it really got me thinking what people can do on these sort of streams, and how you can have just like a show that's just so entertaining, as opposed to what I'm doing here, which is just, you know, bashing walls, building walls, digging dirt. Yeah, standing on horses and looking like Robin Hood. Yeah, it's exactly what it was like. Thanks, Kron. Yeah, so it reminded me, like, for some reason, just the fact, like, this fashion show thing sort of reminded me of the entertainment value of Gumbo's Deal or No Deal. Like, I remember way back in the day, Gumbo would come on, like, he would announce that he would be doing a Deal or No Deal. And back then it was done through GL Freedom. Like, he would just come in on Freedom Chat and just type away his Deal or No Deal. And so many people would come to just watch it. And it was all text. Like, completely text. But so entertaining. I would tune in and, you know, it would last an hour. For that hour, I would have Gumbo's Deal or No Deal to keep me entertained while I was grinding away my skills. And it made me, like, so this fashion show kind of made me wonder, where are all those events like that? Like, how come they're gone? You know? So I kind of want to bring them back. Because I was thinking, we were doing a few giveaways, especially for milestones and things. We're doing giveaways. And these giveaways are like kind of small segments in our show, where, like, for 5 minutes we do a giveaway. Everybody says a keyword in the chat, and we roll a dice, and person wins, and that's the end. And they're fun, totally fun. But I feel like we could get so much more value out of those sorts of events. So I kind of want to, for our next giveaway, which I'm not sure when it's going to be. I haven't set it up for today because this idea just came to me 2 days ago. Yeah, that's true. We just did a giant event with our labyrinth. That is true. Yes. So these events are still around. That's totally true. But I was thinking that we could have a whole, like, segment where we do not only a giveaway, but it's more like something kind of like a game show at the same time. So people would type that keyword in the chat only to get into the game. And then from there, the game would ensue. And that you can win prizes and stuff through playing this challenge. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Haha, that looks like my my signature. Ah, yes. Velvet Sun, you were at the Autumn Twilight Labyrinth. You know, I really feel like so few people got to experience that. So few people. So on that day that we had that Autumn Twilight Castle Labyrinth challenge, we might have had, how many people? Maybe 12 or so. there was like 12 people who were doing it at the time that we didn't even stream it. It was just, I remember that day, Brian had come over to my house. He set up his laptop, and we were just engaging with the people that were there. We weren't streaming anything. And yeah, you guys went through that thing, and I remember it was a ton of fun. Everybody was having tons of fun. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this was back on Autumn Twilight, our big castle deed that we built. And you can watch all those streams that we did, countless videos now on YouTube of us building this massive castle. And Brian made that castle like a huge, like a huge puzzle. It's not quite like a labyrinth, but it was more like a puzzle. And it was designed to be a cooperative puzzle. It was a cooperative game. And so the 12 or so people, yeah, and this was at Battle Pants' Impalong. This was exactly 1 year after Willow's last Impalong. Battle Pants hosted an Impalong. Actually, it might have been 2 years, now I think about it. And yeah, we went over there, we talked to Battle Pants, we said, we have this cool puzzle labyrinth adventure thing. Can we, announce it and have people like, maybe we made sure that it was not going to conflict with any of his events. And we sailed people over. It was like we lived 10 minutes from there. So we pulled a bunch of people over and just had people go through this huge puzzle labyrinth adventure thing. And it was awesome. A lot of fun. Yeah, and the prize, I gave everybody something like that. I imped a tool of choice, I think, to 90 or something like that for everybody who came out that day. Yeah, mystery puzzle, yeah. It's a good way of describing it. Yeah. I did forget to put upkeep into it. To be fair, though, so did Brian. He wasn't thinking about it either. The real problem was that we were no longer on Deliverance. When Brian had stopped playing, I went over to Chaos. I was on Chaos for 6 months. And, I was putting upkeep into it, but, I was putting like 6 months at a time or something like that. And that upkeep was a lot. I think it was almost 10 silver, if I remember correctly. 10 silver a month. And I would put in like 6 months at a time or something like that. I went over to Chaos for 6 months. And then straight from Chaos, I came to Xanadu. Probably it fell after a year. About a year of being on Xanadu. So, yeah. It was a lot of money to put into a deed that we weren't playing on. I really do like the black with the red. I really like that. Looks really nice. Alright, let's keep going here. I remember the day that we found out it fell. We had that moment where we thought, what if we just sailed back there, we could just redeed it. But then we calculated the cost of redeeding it. I can't remember if that was before they lowered the cost of deeds. But it was a humongous deed. Like, it would have costed a ton of money and a ton of time to sail over there, and we had to make sure all of the houses were owned by the person who would like, it was just like a huge nightmare. There were so many houses on that deed, and the owners of those houses were all split up amongst our characters, and it would have just been a nightmare. Only to, like, even if we did that and we finished redeeding it, we would have then come back to Xanadu and just not played on that deed again. Like, it would just, so yeah, it just didn't seem worth it if we returned. Yeah, the problem was that our return was nowhere in sight. In fact, we went back to Deliverance just for a visit, and I think, you know, we both had that feeling of, like, we both went there thinking with, like, a half thought of maybe we'd go back to Deliverance. But after going back, we realized, like, Xanadu is where we are. I think in our Wurm career, Xanadu is sort of like our home now. So yeah, always this last little bit. See, like, that last little mortar piece that's like 0.64. It's so weird. Can't put that in here. No, doesn't fit. Okay, 11. I just need 9 more. And pottery bricks. Indy's the place to be. You know, there was a time where I went over to Indy and looked for a place. It was quite... I mean, there were some open areas, but... You know what it was? What I was looking for was an active area. You know, an alliance to join that had a good group. And I was torn because we have an active alliance here on Xanadu, and we had just joined it. Like, it was like right when we just joined here, and the debate was, do we stay here with this new alliance, or can we find another area that has, like, a good community in the same vein as this one? So I went searching. I went all over the place. I looked on the forums. I looked all over Independence. Took my boat, sailed around, met people, tried to find a place, and after the whole experience, I decided to come back. I mean, our alliance, even right now, it's not as active as it used to be, but, like, look, like, there's at least 10 people on right now. And this is the wee hours of the night for the Europeans. You know? And back then, there were times where I'd log in and there'd be over 30 people on. And they all live in this vicinity. And this area is, because of the way Xanadu is, there is so much room. There's so much coast. There's so much room. And we're in a really nice spot. And so we ended up deciding to stay. Okay, let's see if this thing works. So I open up the window, keep it open, and I come up here. Can I grab things from there? Yep. Okay. I'll take it. You're on release. Let me see here. Delhi's too small. Xanadu's too big. You know, Xanadu is big. I do like the size of Indy as a whole. I really do wish for a server that is like an indie-sized server, but without all the... So the problem I have with indie, there's two things. Number one is there's too many mountains, like too much. They get in the way of like traveling, and like if somebody wants to make a highway, it's like a whole ordeal to make a highway because you have to surface mine the side of a mountain, sort of thing. The other thing that's the problem with Independence is the dirt layer is so deep. Bloody Drongo 2 weeks ago on his Wurm Wednesday was like, I'm going to make a mine, and he started digging, and he dug like 300 slope deep and hit water before he hit rock. That's just crazy. So Xenomir, you're on release. Yeah, release is nice. I was over on release for a little bit. When it first opened, I made a new character. Started him on Pristine. Ran to the south border. Swam across to release. Ran him all the way to the south. And built a little deed there. It's long gone now. But yeah, you moved to Delhi when it opened, Xandros. Yeah. When Xanadu opened, I had this real big draw towards moving to Xanadu. It was partially because of the, pristine land, but I think it was because of the largeness of it. The feeling like it's going to take a long time to start connecting it. And now Xanadu is quite connected to the point where you can use the highway system to get wherever you want to in a decent amount of time compared to what it used to be. So, yeah. Yeah. Delhi, we did really like Deliverance. We really did feel like that was our home for the longest time. But I must say that it is rather small now that after experiencing Xanadu, going back to Deliverance, it felt really small. Like we literally started on the south coast and ran all the way to the north coast. And it did not take long at all. And what's nice about Xanadu is that it still has that feeling of being so big that it makes it feel like a world. So Milo, thanks for saying you like Xanadu as it has the height map of Indy. Yeah, all the others are tame. Yeah, it does have an insane height map. But it also has lots of flat land. Like there's tons of it in between the mountains. And the other thing is the dirt layer is not nearly as bad. But it's in between the smaller servers and Independence. Like Independence has a dirt layer like 300. And the smaller servers have a dirt layer like 40. Whereas Xanadu has a dirt layer somewhere in the, it's like 100 or so. Which I think is more reasonable. And yeah, Xanadu does have mountains, like ridiculous mountains. Yeah, 40. Which is nice if you want to get to the rock quick. But it's not good for if you want your land to look the way you want it to look. you don't really have much play. It reminds me of that. There was that stream we did right near the beginning where we wanted to get the land just right, and we hit the rock right away. And it turned out to be this massive, what's it called? A massive surface mining job. Yeah. All right, where am I? So this is just 1, 2, 3 more potteries. So you know what? I'm an idiot. I was wanting to continue this pattern up here. I said it at the beginning to remind myself and completely forgot. So narrow window, barred, narrow window. Pottery, narrow window. Alright. Yeah, looking back on it, it really wasn't that big of a surface mining job in comparison to some of the ones that we did after that. But it was a let's clear the whole everything to rock, surface mine, and put it all back sort of job. But it was nothing near the surface mining we did for Autumn Twilight. Milo, did the markets not die on Xanadu? Like, are there still markets there that are functional? Because, you know, when we went to visit Deliverance, the markets there also died. You did a chaos-style deed on the South Peaks there. Yeah, lots dropped off. Yeah. You know, I think it's a combination of the mailboxes, you know, now being able to sell a whole bunch of stuff or to send a whole bunch of extra things. You know what? I really don't know what it is, to be honest. I really like the merchant system and the fact that you can make markets and I did spend a lot of time going to markets, looking for good deals. I'm not sure exactly what it is that caused the markets to die, to be honest. Okay, yeah, so Amish Sanctuary still has a bunch. Yeah, Amish Sanctuary is a nice little community there. You know, I think that you can have a nice market if you have a good alliance. And then the market sort of functions as sort of an alliance. Something for the alliance, you know? It's not common that people are going to travel out to markets, especially on Xanadu. Yeah. Population and not much income from kingdom dollars. I'm curious to know what the numbers are for that. Like you're talking about like the coffers, like the king's coffers or whatever. Xenoblite. Is it Zentalbilite? Yeah. The king, like where you would get money from foraging and things. I think there's still decent money there. I mean, all of those coins that I picked up, I don't do that much hunting or. But I picked up like decent amount of money just from when we were hunting for the troll masks. And just from the random like burying I'll bury a corpse and I'll get like a random coin. And I think there's decent money there. But yeah. Part of me just feels like people don't travel out there nearly to the markets because you can go to the forums and get pretty much anything you might want for a really inexpensive cost. And it can be mailed right to you. You don't have to traveling out to a market just takes all that extra time. And part of me, I really enjoyed doing it. It was part of playing the game for me to go out to a market. But I can see the appeal of just arranging with somebody on the forums and having it mailed to me. And I mostly do that now anyway, so Buddha, you're saying you don't know if it's popped up on the forums before, but was a suggestion for something that lets you buy from merchants remotely if the merchant has a mailbox on his tile. That's interesting. Keeps with immersion. Okay. I'd be for that. That's actually quite cool. Pottery window narrow. I mean, that's a sort of in-between solution to. There's those people who want an auction house style thing, which I think is a little bit much. Yeah, but the difference between this and trade chat is that the person doesn't have to be online in order to make the sale. The thing about trade chat is that, like, I can say I want to buy such and such, but if nobody currently online has that thing that I want, then trade chat fails. But if there's something that I can just put stuff on a merchant, and then while I'm offline, people can browse through what I got. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Huh. Trader change, yeah. Yeah. The trader change. It definitely affected us in a negative way. I mean, but when the trader change came, we had 3 traders. So we definitely, and it was slowly changing. And you know what really killed it, and everybody knew that it was happening. What was killing it was that people were sharing the knowledge of traders. When we started, the knowledge of traders was like a secret. It's like only a few people knew about them. And people had the sense that if you knew about traders, you should not be telling other people about it. It was one of those mysterious things in this game. And then once people started realizing what was happening, it got out of control. And there was like somebody made a post on the forums that explained everything, exactly what traders were and how they worked. And I remember there was like a huge outrage. I knew people back in the day, before it became like a problem, that were literally getting 25 silver per month from their traders. And they would have... I knew somebody who had like a couple dozen traders. It was crazy. Like, it was ridiculous what was happening. This was, I think, a philosophy of the game back in the day. It was part of the way the game was designed. And I know that from a lot of players' perspectives, they didn't like it. But it was part of the mystery of the game. It was part of the culture of the game. There was a lot of little sneaky things happening in the game. Like dragon penning was another one. It was systems where a very select few people gained a huge benefit from, and everybody else was oblivious to that. But because of that, it created a community. I don't think that our community would have evolved in the same way. Like, sure, there were a few, like, there was drama and stuff like that, but like, I know for a fact that Gumbo's Deal or No Deal, none of that would have happened if it wasn't for this sort of system. Like, in the whole community surrounding that, like, people were so giving. You would meet people and you would tell them, like, I'm trying to make money, and they would say, hey, okay, so I'll give you 10 silver. And and don't worry about it. Like, here's just for your trouble, like, whatever it was. Like, money was flowing. That's the thing. Money was flowing, and it created a community that through which money flowed. And there were like a few people who had all the money, and it would just come out. Like I said on a previous stream, Zalafir, who was the guy who penned Black Drake on Deliverance, he was so generous with his Drake. Like, he gave it away almost. In fact, we got 3 sets from him just for nothing. Like, just for nothing. Literally nothing. For being friends. We were friends with him. And we had a good time. We built stuff together. We hung out together. And he was super generous and super nice to us. And it was because there was a system in place that allowed him to get a ton of Drake, more than he could ever need for himself. And sure, he could have sold it all and made a ton of money. And he did sell some. He did make a ton of money. But back then, he was selling Drake sets for like 30 silver, I think. That was the cost of Drake sets back then, because he got to set the price, and that's what he set the price to, 30 silver. I think the price started skyrocketing the moment they mentioned that the system was going to change. Once they started saying that uniques are going to spawn again. Wait a minute. This is all got to be slate. Slate wall. Yeah, paying real money for Drake. Yeah, there was a huge group of people on Chaos that started setting the prices. Yeah. 80 silvers, that's about the going rate now, I'd say. I did pay for this set that I'm wearing now, but like with money that I had in game. The blue set that I have, I did pay for that. But I think I paid 80. Yeah. It didn't, Xandros, it didn't quite work like that. You see, back before Unique started respawning, each dragon or Drake would drop enough leather to make like 40 sets. And then there were these people who kept making baby dragons. Like, if you penned a dragon back then, every so often it would lay an egg. And then that egg you can hatch and it would create another dragon. So it wasn't that there was no supply. The supply was happening. It was a select few people who had access to that supply, and a new dragon or Drake would be born, and they would organize a group of people to kill it. Everybody in that group would get a Drake, and then the owner of the dragon would keep the rest. And it was those people who got to set the prices. The moment that they announced that uniques would start respawning and the new system was taking over, after a little bit of adjustment, they made it so that one Drake would only drop enough for one set. But then that leather was distributed amongst everybody. So everybody gets like a little piece of one set. Yeah, so I don't think it increased the supply overall. It might have actually reduced the supply overall. But there were, people did definitely jack up the prices for sure. You got to remember that in this game, the economy is set by the agreement between the buyer and the seller. And that anything that is said to have a set price, quote unquote set price, is set because the community either organically came to that price or somebody manipulated the community to make everybody believe that was the set price. And that sort of thing happened a lot. Like the manipulation of the community. And it usually happened to things like Drake armor, where a certain group of people had all the access to it. They get to dictate the price. And so they did. And that just became the price. I wouldn't say manipulate. Manipulate the community may be a little bit wrong. But it's not wrong to say that they set the price. Next thing you know, the sets were going up 100 euro for a set. And to me, at the time, I was thinking, that's crazy. But people were paying it. And I guess it makes sense. Such a rare item. And they look so cool. You know, you know what it was. See, Independence happened, and I think all the uniques died on Independence. I could be wrong. But I think the idea of penning a unique and getting eggs from them, somebody figured that out, but then all the uniques died on Independence. But then the new servers opened up, Deliverance, Exodus, and right off the get-go, people had plans. People knew exactly what they were going to do. They were going to go to the new servers. They were going to build these things that were going to hold the dragons, and they were going to just capture them. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Manipulation doesn't have to be malicious. You're right. I mean, it was definitely to make profit, right? But at the same time, you gotta look, like, if in your coffers you have 20 Drake sets sitting there, and you know that the supply of Drake sets are dwindling, and this is like the biggest stash of Drake sets there is, 20 Drake sets right here, and you want to sell those 20 Drake sets, and you want to get the most out of it, you get to set the price. That's sort of just the way it is. So that's what they did. There was a time where they were setting it at 120 euro. But I'm sure that it came to some compromise. Wait, how did what turn out? I missed what you were asking about. And Zenomir, if you set a goal in this game, you can always achieve that goal. It might take some time, but it is possible to make the amount of money needed for a set. You just got to sort of make a plan for how you're going to do that. Oh yeah. That's how it turned out was that people captured the dragons and started breeding them. I mean, that's when I started playing the game. After Deliverance came out, when I started playing, people had already captured the dragons and were breeding them. So how it turned out was they just kept breeding them and making more and more sets. I mean, I probably joined the game before the massive rush of the sets, but I would hear stories about how they killed the dragon and there's 40 new sets, and that's a big deal. 40 new sets, considering before that there might have only been 80 sets in the entire game. Zalafir hatched an egg and twins came out. 2 drakes, each 40 sets. Yeah. It's like they're probably thinking ka-ching. Are the sets still around? I'm sure. These sorts of things don't ever decay in this game. I mean, they could be on players that don't play anymore. It's a possibility. But are the uniques still around? Because once the unique system changed, all the uniques switched. So I remember Zalafir had an egg he was planning to hatch. And he never hatched it. And once the unique system changed, I don't know who hatched it, but whoever hatched it, it would have come out as one of the new kinds of uniques. Controversy of allowing non-premium players onto indie. A while before that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, back when Golden Valley was where the non-premium players were, and then they let them come over to indie, and they ruined everything. I think that was a good move, to be honest. Letting non-premium players play on Freedom. I mean, it's what caused the first initial boom of population in the game, I think. You know, before that, the population of the game was in the hundreds, if I'm not mistaken. And then they allowed that to happen. They allowed non-premium players to come over to the actual game. And then that's when population just started skyrocketing. Skyrocketing is in a relative term, in a relative way. You found Wurm through a game that was created based off Wurm. Is that Life is Feudal? That's the one I know of. Yep. There was a lot of high hopes for that game. I think the mistake that it made was that it was pure PvP. 100% PvP. I think that was a mistake. Because they're neglecting the whole player base that in this game that would never play that type of game. Like, you look at Wurm's player base. Okay, Wurm already made that mistake, yeah. Of making it like, and I know that was the development direction of this game. They wanted this game to be PvP. Turns out, though, that there are people who want that. There are. But there's also a larger proportion of people who want PvE. And Wurm sort of struck a balance between those two to allow for both to exist. Give Life is Feudal your own ability to have custom maps, then it would be so much more. Life is Feudal is more tedious than Wurm, really? Man, that's also a mistake. They shouldn't have done that. Alright, last wall here. Yeah. I also like the idea of Wurm PvP. I mean, I would consider myself, like, as a general gamer, I would consider myself a PvP player. I like games that are PvP. Like, when I played World of Warcraft, I would definitely say that more than half my time was spent PvPing. And the other two games that I'm currently playing mostly in are both PvP games. And I am drawn to the idea of PvP in this game. The problem I have is the amount of time required to invest in PvP. Like, I'm sort of like a weekend player. And then there's times where I get to play a little bit in the week, but at any moment, I'd have to go AFK. Like, I can't... Like, it would be like if I was in the middle of, like, running away from somebody. There was a high probability I would have to just say, you know what, forget it, I give up, and just walk away from my computer and turn it off. And just let the person kill me. And that's just no fun. So... And I really love the PvE aspect of this game. I really do. I love it a lot. All right, here we go. I am ready for this one room to remove the floor openings. And if you didn't know, to destroy floor openings, use a carving knife. That's the way to go. Yep, territory control. I really like that idea too. What the real issue is, at least for me, is in a game like this, losing in PvP has such dire consequences. Like if I was playing any other game, like for example Overwatch. Let's say I'm playing Overwatch, and then something calls me away. The penalty for turning off Overwatch in the middle of the game is nothing. Like I'll come back the next day, and I'm exactly where I left off. Whereas if I'm running around on with my Drake set on a fully geared horse with all my tools, and I lose in PvP, it's like super, super detrimental. And I know that's what a lot of people love about this game, is the risk versus reward is so high. Yeah, could do that. Go out in mech gear. But there's also the skill loss that's also quite harsh. Yeah, I've heard the argument of, you can go over to PvP servers and just do the PvE thing there, contribute to the kingdom. I mean, that's sort of what I was trying to do when I went over to Chaos in the first place. I had fun. I must say, I did have fun over there. But I think in the long run, it wasn't for me. I really like the creative side of this game. Alright, let's see how this is. This looks really nice. And I'm okay with this wall being fully no pattern. Alright. So I have one room done. One room constructed. So Buddha, you'd be way more for playing in PvP if full loot wasn't a thing. But apparently that's a primary draw for a lot of people. Yep. A lot of people do like the full loot. I mean, there's a huge fan base for games like Rust. But I'm not sure how much. I tried Rust. My brother-in-law was very into Rust. Tried it for a little bit, but couldn't quite get into it. How does attacking deeds work on PvP? Well, you use siege engines to launch rocks and things at the walls. The idea is if you can get to their token, you can drain their token. Take the money. And of course also steal all the stuff. If you can kill everybody. How many on Chaos at the moment? I'm not sure if we can actually figure that out anymore. Is there something on the launcher that allows you to see the population? It used to be on the forums where you could see the population of each server. But I feel like that's gone now. Let me see. Servers online. No. I don't think you can see the population anymore. Oh. What's this, Milo? You have the server stats? Okay. Yes. Although, can barely see it with the black on the brown. Yeah. 13 on Chaos, 13 on Epic. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, it's nice to see that, like, there was a decline in population, but it's nice to see that there's still a core group of people who love this game enough to keep playing it. And I'm really appreciative of the dev team for continuing to put all the work into it. Because I think that if development stopped on this game, that would just be heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. Yep. Yeah, I'd say even at peak times, you're looking at 600 nowadays. You know, as interesting this beer was, I don't think I'd ever buy it again. It was interesting, but not amazing. There's enough amazing beers out there that it needs to compete with. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Zental. Updates are just mind-blowing. Like, the new rendering system, the way the game is looking now, is just amazing. Yeah, but you're back now, right, Milo? You're back. Everybody takes breaks from this game every so often. Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, having new stuff is always like a motivation to keep playing. You know, we played enough games, Brian and I, that have died out, and the development just stopped. And yeah, it's horrible when that happens. When a game that you like just ends. All right, I'll do a few more walls here. Let's see, what time is it? It's 20 after. Yeah, let's do a few more walls. Yeah, I'd say that I do take quite a few breaks, but I would say that I probably play more than I take breaks. Oh wait, open before climbing. I still say we should be able to open. We should be able to open the carts or wagons through an opening, like we were able to before. Especially if I'm able to open it on the first floor and then climb up and still access. Why take away the functionality of being able to open it from above? I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, there are lots who do come back. But, you know, there was like I think it's a misconception to think that everybody comes back. Because I know a lot of people who haven't come back. And I would say that more people don't come back than do. But there are a lot of people who do come back. You know what it is? With the open and reach functionality, I do appreciate that windows stay open, you know, as you move away. Like if you have, let's say, your forge open and you walk away just to grab something over here, your forge stays open. I really do like that. And I do understand that the window's staying open, but you can walk out of reach from the forge and the window will stay open. And actually, I'm okay with that. I look at that as an addition in the sense that it's staying open, but it didn't add extra reach, which is fine. I don't think that it needs extra reach. But this feels like it's just something taken away. It's like where I used to be able to open this from here and then grab stuff from it. But now I can't open it from here. However, I can still reach to it, which is weird. So all I need to do is climb down, open it, climb back up, and then I can reach. That doesn't quite make too much sense to me. You blame us for pulling you back. Well, I'm glad that we do. I'm glad that we pull people back. Ah, I see. So there was an exploit people were using it for. Goodness. People and their exploits. Stop exploiting the game, people. Just use the functionality as it's intended. Yeah, the stuff in boats is an issue. Yeah. I think part of it is the model of the boat is so huge. And then you have to be standing in a specific spot in order to access it. Actually, wagons have a similar issue. I have a whole bunch of stuff. Let's just put it on the floor. So the issue I have with wagons is I could be standing right here. In fact, right here. Like within arm's reach of the wagon. And I can't even open it from here. Like I don't even get the option to open it. But even if I do get the option to open it, Can I even reach anything from in here? No. I'm too far away. I'm too far away to grab things. And I'm standing like right next to it. And I think the reason is because it's actually checking how far away am I standing from this spot right here. Like it has to pick a specific spot has been chosen for the wagon to be sort of like the place that you need to be standing near in order to open it. And it's like the driver's seat. So I could be standing right here and I should be able to access things from here. Yeah. But if you're standing right here, you can't. It says I'm too far away. Yeah. All right, Milo. See you later. Thanks for dropping in. Like I think with boats, there's like a specific spot on the boat that you have to be standing near, and it's a check to see how far away you are from that spot. That'll allow you to grab things or. So let me reread exactly what you were saying. You had stuff in crates on your boat and stuff just sitting directly in it. At a distance, I can take stuff out of the hold directly, but not the crate. And you can put stuff into the crates, but not the hold. Yeah. Yeah, that does sound like an extra little weird thing going on there. Yep. Yeah. I do remember that mooring rope fiasco. That's just a weird one. Like that, to me, what it means is that somebody must have gone in and made it so that mooring ropes can do that. You know, they would have made it so that mooring ropes could lead 4 animals. I don't know how that could have happened. Did Titch add that? So mooring rope. Titch was the one who did the mooring rope. Interesting. That's funny. Okay, so narrow barred, narrow barred. That's hilarious. Oh, now I'm too far. Yeah, that's funny. It's interesting how the development team has the ability to do things like this. You know, where a single developer can be like, okay, let's just make this item do that. And then they squeeze it in there. And nobody else knows that that got added. Just goes right under the radar. Like, I remember finding out about that. And I felt like I was late to the party. Like, everybody knew about it. And I'm just learning that you could use a mooring rope to lead 4 animals. And that same week, it got removed. Like, we announced it on the show, like, hey, we learned something new. You can use a mooring rope to lead 4 animals. And I feel like that was the thing that... It wasn't exactly that. It wasn't us that caused it, but... Wait. I don't want barred here. I want narrow. Narrow. Slate. Narrow. It was our fault? Is that what it was? Or are you just saying that, Buddha? Like, we announced it to the community, and then the devs were like, oh, now that everybody knows, we can't have that. This was meant to be just a titch-only thing. Though I do know that that's how things happen in this game. It's how things happen in this game. Just as we were talking earlier about the traders. You know, the traders work one way when only a few people know about it. The moment that everybody finds out about it, has to change after that. But that's okay. It's the way things are, I guess. Well, in the end, it did add the halter rope, which creates some kind of continuity. You know, it's nice to have that kind of continuity. That's true. The more people that knew about them, it did get divided amongst them. The money. Yes. Well, at least in that situation, you could say that you were ahead of you were ahead of the punch, or you could, like, somebody suggested and says, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let me just, like, you know, do a couple hours of code," and then a week later you entered in, and you look like a superstar. When Factional Fight talks, developers listen. I am sure there's stories of that sort of thing happening. Although it is definitely frowned upon, I'm sure. Maybe somebody was leaking it. It is possible. People do like to talk. People do like to talk in this game. It's so funny. So, like, here's another one. A long time ago, there was, and I'm not sure why this was in the game, but, and I think it was Zalafir who was telling me this, and he was telling me it in this, you know, saying, don't tell anybody. I'm not even supposed to be telling you. I shouldn't be telling you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. But don't ever tell anybody this, because if you tell anybody and the word gets out, it's going to get changed, like, right away. And what it was that there was a way to grind your channeling. So on your priest, you can get your channeling up really, really, really fast. And the way that you would do it is you had to sacrifice a certain amount of favor. And it was like a lot of favor. You had to put a ton of favor into there's a certain amount into the altar and sacrifice it all in one shot. And if you did that with full favor, you got a channeling tick that was constant. No matter what your skill was, it would give you the same channeling tick. So it made no sense to do this when you had low channeling, because I think you would get 0.1. It was like 0.1 or something like that. You would have to sacrifice. It wasn't a full chant. No, it wasn't. It wasn't crazy, but it was like crazy enough that like it might have been 0.15 or 0.1 something channeling. But like think about it. 0.1 channeling. Yeah, it still exists. It definitely exists, but you're right. The amount you get is like so small. But even if it was 0.1, you would just do this 10 times and get a full channeling skill. And it didn't matter what skill you were at. So if you were at 80, you do this 10 times and you're at 81. You do 10 more times, you're at 82. So all it took was that you just needed to make a ton of favor. And, you know, that did take a lot. But what people would do is they'd buy their favor. They would get other people to make it. They'd buy their favor. And they would just sit there at the altar just sacrificing away. And, yeah. So I found out about this. I did it 2 times. I literally did it 2 times. And then it got changed. Like right after that. Yeah, that was on my Venora Priest. I think I was already I might have been at 70 or 80 channeling or something like that at that point. Yeah, and he tells me about it, and I'm like I'm not one to really use too many exploits. Like, I think I had a good amount of it wasn't like right after. I think it might have been a month. He tells me about it, and like a month later it got changed, but I never really spent the time to do it. It's like I did it 2 times that he showed me, and then I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then it got changed. Well, this was before we started streaming, or we if we were, making videos, we never mentioned this. Yeah. Well, I mean, this one seems like is this something that is put in by a developer at some point? Or was this a complete mistake, like a complete bug, not intended ever? Or is it that there's somebody who's programming these sorts of things into the game to be sort of found? Yeah, I don't know. I am running low in mortar. Mortar is the last thing. I bought a whole bunch of mats, but I didn't buy any mortar. So I got to get on that. And mortar is one of those things that I also don't mind making either. Yeah, it does make me wonder, like, where do these things come from? Like, for example, the fountain pan thing. Is this just like when it was coded into the game, it mustn't have been somebody thinking like, let's make it so that people can finish things inside other things. But I guess it's just something that came out of, like, it's the way it worked but it wasn't intended to work that way. I guess that's my guess. Yeah, we're talking about exploits and how the moment that, at least my experience with most exploits is that I'll hear about them, and just as I'm trying it for the first time, like it's not, here's the thing. I'm not trying it because it's an exploit. It's like somebody tells me, "Hey, you can do this in the game." Like for example, it's all started with the mooring rope. Somebody tells me, "Hey, you can lead 4 animals with a mooring rope." And it seems like this is common knowledge. Everybody's doing it. And I'm feeling like I'm left out of the loop. I'm late to the party. Yet I find out about this and I'm happy. Like I can now lead 4 horses with the mooring rope. The moment that I learn about it, it gets removed from the game. But here's the thing: how do you know when you learn about something like this? How do you know that it's an exploit? It's like there's nothing to tell you that this isn't supposed to be in the game. Do you know what I mean? Like with the fountain pens. Like people were selling these on the forums for the longest time. And the people who were making them before the change, they weren't thinking to themselves, I'm doing this even though I'm not supposed to. They were thinking to themselves, I'm doing this because I can. The game allows me to do it, and nobody said anything not to. So I'm just going to do it because I can. Don't spread this, but yeah, I suppose. In hindsight, that does make sense. It does make sense. Okay, so when you just started, you learned about the trick where you could trade mirrors inside containers and someone asked to see help. Hey, I use my mirror. How do I get a new one? You didn't realize an exploit, so yeah. Once you use your mirror, yeah. Yep. I remember that. I mean, there was the original exploit that allowed you to get that mirror in the first place. What was it again? I can't remember now. It's like right at the beginning when the new models came out. And you had that mirror for the very first time. Right? Like characters who were already in the game all of a sudden just had these mirrors in their inventory. Now I'm trying to remember. There was some mechanism that allowed you to just get another one. And like, let me just see. Okay, right at the start you can make alts and trade them over. So I must have done that. Because I'm currently carrying 2 in my inventory right here. And I've had them since the beginning. So yeah, then there was the wait, and there was, you could trade them by, there was also a period of time where you could put them on a merchant. You just put them on a merchant and somebody could buy them from the merchant. I don't have any plans of using them because I like the way that my character looks, and yeah. But now I guess there's no way to trade them away, eh? Like there's no way to give them to somebody else now. That's all taken away. Okay, where am I? I got mortar. Do I have enough for this last wall here? I just need some slate. Yeah. Probably just 5 more. All right. Let's see. I am curious to know if I've run out of mortar. Yep. I bet if I rummage around, I could probably find some more. If I looked in Brian's cart, I bet he has some mortar. Let's go see. However, I will have to end this stream soon. It is getting late. And work comes early in the morning, that's for sure. It's approaching 11 p.m. I'm gonna go see if I can find some more mortar. Oh goodness. I am all of a sudden looking straight up again. Well, I feel like more people are streaming now than ever before. It's approaching 5 a.m. Boy. This morning I was watching Valiance. He was holding some kind of event on his server. Huh, what happened to the Supreme Cart? You know what? I bet he put it on, it's still on his floor. Yeah, that's true. Some aren't very talkative. It is true. Really all it takes is turn on the stream and just talk about what you're thinking about. So I watch a lot of Catspur. Catspur I enjoy listening to. Are you kidding me? Oh, I know what he's going to do here. I can see what he's going to do here. But right now, it's a dead end. He must have done a little bit of work at some point. But I bet he has his horses in here. Or not? Where are his horses? If I can find them, I'm going to poach some mortar. Nope. I guess he doesn't. It's not in here. It's not like I'd be stealing it. It's my mortar in the first place. If anything, he stole it from me. All right. I think I'll have to just let it go. Next time I log in, I'm going to have to probably buy some mortar. Possibly make some mortar. Because we're going to need a lot. Ooh, it looks so foggy. That looks nice. It's nighttime and foggy. Getting some lag. I think the server's trying to tell me it's time to go to bed. Okay. Here we go. Did a whole spin around. Alright, folks. I think that's where I'm going to end. Just going to get off my horse. I'm going to check that mail because it used to be impossible to build doorless houses for that very reason. What very reason? Oh, we had 2 guys build a house with no doors. Took a while for them to bust off a deed. Ooh, Velvet Sun. Thank you so much. See, I haven't done any archaeology since the new stuff, like since this stuff came in. Oh, look at that. They're all like ready to be done too. You're the best. Thank you so much. Let's put those together and see them. This gives me an excuse to play for a little bit more. I'm gonna bring them into here, put them on a little table here. Here we can get rid of these. Yeah, here's another thing that I'm having trouble with. Stuff that gets put on tables, like see these pottery that are on the ground. These will never decay because they're on the ground and they're decorative items. But the moment you put it on a table, they can decay. I don't like that. I feel like they shouldn't. And I'm afraid to put these on the table because I don't want them decaying. Now granted, they decay very slowly. But nonetheless. Alright, let's see. Digger. Combined. Oh, I got an achievement. Statue, bro. Okay, let's plant. Let's place, drop, place. Nice. Oh, that looks so cool. It almost looks like they used the exact model of somebody doing that. I guess that's how they got Titch's model too. There must be some way of doing that. Drop place. Sweet. These things look so cool. You know, I've seen pictures of them on the forums, but I don't know what it was, but they didn't quite look like they had this much detail. Now that I see them right up close, you can see that they pretty much have the same amount of detail as a full model of a person. That's really cool. The pedestals with the spinning balls, those are the prize that you get. So that's the prize you get from beating the labyrinth. The puzzle labyrinth. So if you haven't yet done that, it's still open and available to go through. And you can still get one of your own of these puzzle things. Puzzle King's crystal balls. And this one here, this one that's glowing gold, that one was a gift from from the Wurm team. Retrograde gave it to us as a gift for making the labyrinth. We're so appreciative of that. I gotta find a place to put it that'll do it justice. Now that we're decorating that place, I think we can make a nice little spot for it. Place. Am I too far? No room? There's no room. You can only have 3? Alright, well... I never really decorated this place that well. Is it true? Is it really that I can't place? Okay, that's weird. I can put that there. What is the issue with this one? There's no room for the statuette of a swordsman on the small bedside table. Anyway, let's just put it down so I can see him. Very cool. Second shelf, can I do that? Can he get put down here? Yeah. Nope, no room. No room. I'm debating, like I'm wondering, like is it that this particular guy is too big to go on here? Nope. That doesn't make any sense to me. Makes no sense. Because the 4th guy can't go on, yet a 4th item can. Right? Wait. Could be. Could be. Yeah, it does have 10 weight, and it might have a certain volume. That's very possible. Well, for now he's going here. And these guys are just getting dropped here. Because all of those things are going to be used for decorations in the new place. I'm sure of it. Along with a lot of the decorations in here. We'll just strip them away. Like, I remember this whole little area was just, I'm just dropping my stuff. And eventually it'll get put someplace. And what's in here? Oh, these are just extra bags. And more bags. That all need to be repaired. Alright. Well, anyway, I've rambled on enough. And I've done some random things. That I think it's time. It's 11 p.m. I think it's time for bed. So, thank you all for coming out and hanging out with me. You guys keep on worming. And we'll see you on the next episode. Have a good night, everybody.